Jackie Chan move. Cha. Did anybody see my face?
We saw it. We saw it.
I'm going to
We have all
this
seen
now.
it.
Okay. It's Convo time. This is the show where we talk about everything and anything that has to do with young adults. And what are we talking about today?
It's all about, educational system.
When we went to school.
Yeah. So how was school for you?
School was good, Daddy.
See?
I
I was about to say that just made me sound a bit old.
But you are.
No,
You
no.
really are.
Oh, okay.
Where'd you go to school?
I went, half Nigeria, half Ireland. I went to secondary school in Nigeria. I was in secondary school in Nigeria up to SS1. I didn't start SS1. I left right before I started. And I came to Ireland and they took me back to GSS1.
GSS1 in Ireland.
Yeah, no, I mean, first year. And that was was weird, but it worked well. Because then I felt like I was really smart in school. And I knew that the only reason I was really smart was because I don't know what they were doing. And I was also younger than them, which was a bit creepy.
Before we go on, can we just break it down for like people that don't know the different classes and things like that?
Basically, in Ireland, by the way, Ireland's educational system, I found this out. I was like, it blew my mind, is in the top 20 in the world. It is number 9 in the top 20 in the world. Round of applause, Ireland!
Go Ireland.
I don't know where Nigeria is. They're not even in the top 20. That's
It's
just
not to do with population, just checking.
Nigeria wasn't in the top, unfortunately. It
100.
wasn't in the top anything.
Oh.
Would that surprise you when you
It
say,
did
oh,
surprise me.
really?
I thought
Like genuinely, like logically and genuinely, did it surprise you?
Yeah. It did. I'm shocked. I'm disappointed.
I did think it would be in at least the top 100.
No, I'm disappointed, but like I'm not shocked. It's expected because. Do you want to try and deny the way you're looking at me?
Yeah, you need to explain
the
yourself.
Nigerian educational system is not the greatest.
Why?
It is not in the top 100 of the greatest.
Okay.
Because it's not.
What's wrong with our educational system?
Let's break it down so
All
people
right.
understand where we're coming from, right?
Right.
The way it works in Ireland, for people watching, is you start primary school, as it says, at the age of between 4 to 6, depending on what month you were born in, I believe it's in. So if you're 4 years old, if you were born before
First half, is it or something?
if you were born in the first half of the year and you're 4 years old, you start primary school and you're in junior infants. And then if you're born after September, you have to wait a year to start again. So then you're technically 5 starting or going 6, because by the time you start the following September, you will be almost 6 if you're born at the end of September, let's say. So between 4 to 6, you start primary school. And then you're in junior infants. You go from junior infants, senior infants, first class, second class. So you
So
spend...
if we break this down in Nigeria, it's like nursery 1, nursery 2, and then we
Primary
go to
1.
primary 1, which is first class.
First class, second class.
It's up to 6.
all the way. So you're in... Between Nigeria and Ireland, you're in primary school for the same length of years. So you're in primary school for 8 years. That's junior infants, first class, junior infants, senior infants, and then you've got first class to sixth class, and that's 8 years.
But in Nigeria, there's a lot of skipping. You jump ahead.
Yeah.
You
When
can
you
get
to
double
six.
promotion.
Yeah.
As
Your results.
Yeah.
I've never quite, because I didn't grow up with the Nigerian educational system. I left Nigeria when I was about 7 years old, and I think I got into 3rd class, or primary 3. And then I got to Ireland, they did the same thing for me, threw me back to first class, which is primary 1, and I was like, okay, cool. But in Nigeria, you could get double promotion apparently, just skip classes if you're smart enough.
It's not that bad now anymore, by the way. It's not as bad as
Back in
it
my
used
Okay.
to be, yeah.
Right.
You could do double promotion, okay.
Which is
People are smart enough to get double promotion.
They just found out that it wasn't working
It's
after a while.
because it's not working.
Because
You're
of the
skipping
age as
huge
well.
parts of the curriculum
Yeah.
and things that you need to know to build upon
Yeah.
for the next part of your academic career you don't know. So there's no way it will work.
That's primary school. Secondary school, you get, in Ireland, you are in first year, and the way it works is you've got first year, second year, third year, and that is your junior cycle.
Yeah.
And in Nigeria, that's just
Junior cycle
GS1.
is,
Junior cycle is
GSS.
GS1,
GS1,
GS1, GS2, GS3.
Yeah.
Like,
It's
you
like
can-
junior secondary school
Yeah,
and senior.
JSS.
junior secondary,
and-
GSS.
Yeah.
JS.
And then you've got, in Ireland, you've got your senior cycle, which is the 4th year is optional in most schools in Ireland. So you don't actually have 3 more years to go. You only have a mandatory 2 years, and there's a middle one in there that is optional, which is called transition year, TY. And that's basically a year where kids get to explore what it is to be like in the working world, kind of, and you do projects and stuff kind of got to do with actually getting work experience. So this is where you have finished your junior cycle and you're going from being in school to kind of getting a feel of what the working world will be like before you decide what you want to do in your leaving cert, which is the senior cycle, and that determines what you do in college. So we've got that aspect there. In Nigeria, it's just go straight into SS1, SS2, SS3, and you graduate secondary school. There's no in between, there's no gap, nothing. Again, there used to be the whole double promotion thing, but like you said, it probably doesn't work anymore. So in that stage, I feel there's people getting double promotion and all that. In Nigeria, you kind of finish secondary school earlier than people in Ireland. Because I remember when I came to Ireland, I felt my cousins that would have lived with me back in Nigeria, one of them was a year ahead of me, so he would have been in primary 4 and I was in primary 3. And by the time he was finished, I was just finishing primary school and he was almost finished secondary school. That was a bit weird for me, because I'm thinking there's only like a year difference between us, and you're already within the next couple of years you're going to be in college and I'm still in secondary school. How does that work?
So is that why you're saying getting us them bad?
I did say it was bad. I just said I was agreeing with the fact that it's not in the top 100. Whether it was Paddy that wrote it or it was Antibola that wrote it, that's the way it is.
Antibola won't write something. But speaking about the educational system in Nigeria, see, it's something that I grew out of. I started school when I was 2, and I think that was done in primary school really early. Don't know exactly. I think I was 10 when I was in secondary school already, around that. Yeah. So I don't think it affected me. Rather, the only problem is, not all kids are not the same. That's the only problem that I would have with the Nigerian system. Some kids would spend an hour to study, and other kids would just have to look over the book and they got it. But the Nigerian system does not leave that opportunity for other kid who spends extra time to learn. There's no opportunity for him. So it's either, if you're not fast enough, you're going to be left behind. That's the problem with the educational system in Nigeria. Speaking of double promotion and all that, you have people in Nigeria who will be in SS1 for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
That is the problem.
Yeah.
It's because there's no extracurriculum, no one's not going to help, there's no assistance for them to maybe say, okay, what's wrong with this kid? Why is he not getting there as quick as the others? Okay, maybe, we're not using his own strength.
Yeah.
What's his strength, what's his weakness, now, speaking about all that, that's one thing I would applaud the Irish system. It's because they have guardian counselors. Some schools might not have it good. Some schools have great guardian counselors. And guardian counselors are people, I would say, if your guardian counselor is good, you would tell by the outcome of the people who go to that school. What are they? How is their future? What do they end up in life? Like when I came to Ireland, I was in Nigeria. I knew what I wanted to do before coming here. But getting here, the guardian counselor really, really helped me, because my mentality was, can you tell me what I need to do to get into any school that I don't want to do any other thing? And she explained to me, you can't say you don't want to do any other thing. She gave me a very, very important an important note that I took with me forever. She said, what we offer you is like a buffet of everything, because we don't want you to narrow it at an early stage to just one option. What if that doesn't work out for you? And that was why she told me. That's why, in the schools here, you do French, I think in 3rd year, and then you can decide if you want to do Spanish, you can do others, arts. They want to make sure you get everything in the first 2 years in secondary school. And then you're like, okay, this is what I like. And then they can tell. Because if you're just saying I don't like it because you're lazy, or they can tell, okay, his strength lies here and his weaknesses. Do you get what I'm saying? So that's what I would applaud Ireland, because we have guidance counselor. I never heard of a guidance counselor in Nigeria.
Same here.
The only counselor I know is university counselor.
By then, you figuring it's too late.
That's the only problem I would, highlight about the Nigerian educational system. But apart from that, we are trying. Some people write jam them left, right, center. They will still not get into school. You know, it's hard, but
I think, like, for me, one of the things that annoys me the most about the Nigerian educational system while I was there, I don't know if they still do this, but this practice was something that I think I benefited from it because it boosted my confidence and my ego and stuff. What they did was, I knew they did this across the board, like in different schools. Whenever, like, your end of year results, whatever came out, they would allocate positions of where you came in the class from your academic results. I don't know if they still do this.
If you're first, second, third, second,
if there's 30 people in the class and you're 30th, you will know. So will your parents.
Guaranteed.
Wow.
I'm glad you confessed that it helped. They need to try it here.
I'm saying it boosted my ego because I was one of the people that generally did well in class, you know. Okay. But like my parents put in time and effort. My parents would sit down and do homework with me. If I needed extra help, they would get extra teachers. I was lucky to have had that. Some people could not afford that. Some people, their parents were working all the time, couldn't sit down and do homework with them. Like, that was a privilege that I had. And, like, I took it for granted because I had it and I was just given it, like, freely. Some people didn't have that privilege. Now, I think that's something that's not good because if you don't have that privilege and you're not a person who's automatically brainy, like, it totally diminishes your confidence in yourself. And it's not something that teachers see you getting 30th, like in primary 1 and primary 2, and they're like, oh no, we need to get you up. They'll be like, that's where you want to stay. You stay there. Do you know that kind of a thing? Wow. There's no support. And then you can see the people. I think it goes right across the spectrum of like the Nigerian system. You see the rich getting richer and the poor getting poorer. And it's like that with academia as well. The people that are getting the best of the best grades will get the best of the best grades because teachers will help them more. And the people that are doing lesser will get less help. And I think like that's hitting it right from our foundation. And I think that's something that's very, very wrong. And I think it goes right across the board, and it's awful.
I do agree, and it seems like it's something like what you saying you took it for granted for the fact that me growing up in Ireland, I'm saying this now. You took it for granted for the fact that you had your parents helping you with your homework, and you had got extra teachers if you really needed help or anything. In Ireland, I feel people do take the educational system in Ireland for granted, and somebody like me, I have to say, growing up. My leaving cert, I thought the leaving cert, the whole idea of the leaving cert and the way it worked, I didn't think it worked for people. And I thought that personally because of the fact that I felt it's supposed to help you decide what you want to do in college. And I didn't think it helped me decide what I wanted to do because I was forced to do some topics that weren't necessary for me to do in college, whatever I wanted to do in college.
What do you mean help?
I wanted to do business. I wanted to go to college to do business. And the subjects that I did for my leaving cert in my senior year should have been what would get me into college to do business. So what was relevant for my business degree in college. I did geography and history.
But there was no guarantee that you were going to do business.
I knew I wanted to do business.
Having said that though, sorry for interrupting you. I think most universities in Ireland have like subject requirements.
I knew my subject requirements were you absolutely needed business Irish maths.
Okay.
And you needed either business or accounting and economics. My school, and it's not something in Ireland as well that all the schools offer the same thing or offer similar things. If you get like
right.
I wanted to do business, so I should have been able to do as subjects business. Accounting, economics, anything that had to do with business, those subjects should have been available for me. Business was available and accounting was available. I took them. Economics was not.
Okay.
And I had other schools around me that were offering economics as well as business and accounting. And I felt like I couldn't. One of them was an all-boys school. I clearly wasn't going to go to an all-boys school to get economics done. If I had the option, I would have added economics to my list as well. But because there was no economics and the other subjects had no relevance to what I wanted to do, which was history and geography, I still had to pick them because I needed 7 subjects.
We all live in a world with change. And that's why you might not understand the impact of geography and history and all that, but it really made a change because it helps you. Because if you were to go into the business world, right, you're going to face challenges that are going to come with change. How are you going to be able to handle them if you're so comfortable in your own comfort zone? Because in secondary school, I only did business, I only did this, I only did that, because that's what I wanted to do. And in the moment, it's like that's the problem a lot of companies have now. When they bring change, they bring new ideas, then people find it hard to adapt because they're so used to, this is the way we've been doing it. I didn't go to school to get that. Do you get what I'm saying? So,
I get what you mean.
It's like you have shops where like they now want the staff to use computer, and the staff will be like, oh, but I didn't go to school to learn how to use a computer. But really, you should have learned it because you should have gotten the basics.
Okay, we're gonna take a break, and we're gonna come back to what you said because I do have a point to make on what you said, but we're gonna take a break first, and we'll be back. We'll be right back. Welcome back. Before we went on the break, we were talking about the difference in educational systems in Nigeria and Ireland, and you were making a point in something I said about the Irish system, and when I was doing my leaving cert, not really helping me decide what I would like. I knew what I wanted to do, and the classes that I took weren't really specific to what I wanted to do. You said it was me needing to actually broaden my horizons and choose subjects.
We all learn a skill at some point in life, but you don't know when you're going to use it. You can't say, oh, because I'm not using it in the next 2 years, it's useless. Geography, I feel like one of the reasons why I would always be grateful to going to school in Ireland is because no matter how bad it is, I feel like I'll be able to help my kids with their homework. So imagine your kid came home and your kid had a history homework. You'd be like, I didn't like history in class, I didn't do it, so you know what, good luck.
Very
now, where's your parenting skills? Do you see what I'm saying? It's so they wanted you to have the best of everything, so you'd be able to go out there and survive. No matter what it is, you would have something. Now, bringing it back to Nigeria, like it's different.
Can I just give an example for what you said just before you go on? Like we were just talking about the history, and I remember watching, one of these like Vox Pop type TV shows where they just like question people on the street and things like that.
Oh yeah.
Nigeria has a lot of them. They annoy me firstly because they seem to just be there to make fun of Nigerians by Nigerians, which is I think is just ridiculous.
It's not their fault. It's just the truth.
It's entertainment.
It's entertainment, but it's at what cost though? That's a different thing. What I wanted to say was like, they were asking questions like really quite simple questions about Nigerian history, like independence, the Civil War, and things like that, state and capitals, and Nigerians themselves are not able to answer these questions, and then it gets you thinking like, where are we going wrong? That people that have like proper good jobs, and I'm not saying that you can't get a good job without knowing certain things, but these are basics about your country's foundation and history. How can you not know this? Do you know what I mean?
I know.
So I feel like what Toby was saying, it's like the little things that you learn along the way that you don't necessarily think, oh, I'll be using this in my my career life, but it helps you along the way. Like these are things that you need to know just for the sake of life, really.
Okay, let's try with our sister here. Though.
Sorry, man.
Is Abuja a state? That's not wait. What's funny about that is Abuja a state?
Well, Abuja is the capital of Nigeria.
Yes or no? Is it a state?
No.
Okay, there we go. She meant to be Nigeria.
Okay, well, I'm gonna clap and say, okay, but how does that mean she went to school in Nigeria?
Because a lot of people who think because they've been to Nigeria will be like, oh, I went to this state called Abuja. And Abuja is not a state.
But she's Nigerian.
There are a lot of Nigerians who go back to Nigeria who probably were born in like London or left Nigeria at your age, and they would go back and say, oh, I know Nigeria, I know everything. And then ask them, is Abuja a state? Yes, it is. And then that's,
That's like, I feel like
I
that's
was born in Nigeria, but I don't know everything about Nigeria.
Okay, but like, at what age did you come over to Ireland?
15.
So you went secondary. You probably were in SS2, SS1.
Starting SS1.
Oh, in that case, tell us what was secondary school like for you?
Oh, I hated it because I went to boarding school.
That's I've heard a lot. Please,
I felt like I was bullied. Well, I guess Nigerians won't call it bullying. They'll say, oh, training or whatever. Mm-hmm. But, I don't know if you guys had that at your boarding school. Senior system. You said you told us you went to boarding school.
So you're just gassing yourself. You think she's talking your life, Abby?
We had this senior sister where the JSS1 would have a sister in the boarding school where there would be school mother, that's what I meant, sorry, school mother. And then I actually hated it. It's like they're treating you as a slave or something, but it's actually, I don't think it worked at all for me. It just made me feel like they were using me as a slave. Well, it did help some people, but I just didn't like
I used to think that was all a joke though, because like I know boarding schools were hard, but whenever people told me, they had one particular girl was telling me when I went to secondary school with the girl, and she said she was in her final year in Ireland. She just came then, and she went to boarding school in Nigeria just before she came to Ireland. And she said it got to the height where if she wet the bed and she was on the top bunk and had I used to call it her school mother was on the bottom bunk and she wet the bed and it went through.
She's getting punished.
It wasn't punishment. I don't.
Because you said she was in her final year.
She wasn't. She came to Ireland in her she was in 6th year coming to Ireland. She got into 6th year.
So 6th year would be like 17, 18.
This didn't happen when she was in 17, 18. This happened when she first got into boarding, when she was starting boarding school.
No offense, but there were people in Nigeria who are still bedwetting at that age, so it's not a big deal.
I don't know what age she was, but I do feel because she must have been a teenager, so she was old enough not to be wetting the bed. But she did say she wet the bed. She was out of fear or something, and it went through. And the beating she got, and she was punished for the whole week. Said whenever she wanted to fetch water, whenever the school mother wanted to fetch water, and she was the one. There were other girls that she could call, but that was her punishment for this. She would be the one carrying it on her head, nothing covering her head. She'd go for about 5 times. If the water was gone, that was her own problem. She wouldn't take a bath that day, all simply because she got scared and wet the bed. And I'm thinking, how on earth are people getting punished by other students in this way and the teachers aren't doing anything? Like, that's unnecessary punishment.
I agree that it's unnecessary, but we have to take the culture into into account, because we know what Nigeria is like. As in, like, anybody that's older than you and has any sort of say or authority, they can do whatever they want. I don't think it's right, but I'm just saying we do have to take it into consideration.
It's just completely different from boarding schools in Ireland, though, because I know, but I have my little sister's friend goes to boarding school, and she absolutely loves it.
In Ireland.
Oh,
that's a different.
And it's like home away from home for her. That's like, why is there such the authority thing? I understand what you mean, but I just feel like, why must kids suffer because they're going to boarding school?
You actually mentioned something I actually want us to discuss. You said something about, she was old enough to not wet the bed.
Yeah.
Right? Now, you went to school in Nigeria, am I right? Okay, so, at the age of 13, you have kids in Nigeria who are in SS1, SS2. So, I don't know how you feel about this, but I feel like the system does not actually allow you grow.
It's like they're
naturally
rushing it.
It's like they're rushing your growth.
It's like my cousin that said that kind of was already in college by the time I was just getting into secondary school. At the age, I believe he was maybe 16 or 17, and he was practically done college.
And you
can't say he's mature enough.
Double promotion, is it, what did you call it?
Yeah, the double promotion.
Yeah, I remember I did that in primary 4, and I got through to go all the way to primary 6. But my parents wouldn't let me because they felt like, oh no, it's too much. So I had to do primary 5 and primary 6. And then I actually noticed that those that actually got through to primary 6, it was like they kind of made it seem like those who didn't get that promotion were dumber or weren't good enough kind of thing.
The Nigerian in me came out there. I was already saying you are not smart. You did primary 6. I'm sorry. But because I didn't do primary 6.
So that promotion thing is basically skipping a year, and then double promotion is skipping 2 years.
Yeah. I did something called common entrance primary 4. I passed, but my mom said no. But I knew I wasn't going to go anyways. But they just wanted me to try it from primary 4. And then at primary 5, I was like gassed about going to secondary school. And saying about that competition thing, at primary 5, right? The guys who stayed behind to do primary 6, they don't know who. That's the myth. That's what it is, because we were like, jeez, you need to understand that in Nigeria, we always kind of were like forced to grow.
But then if we're saying we're forced to grow, these kids didn't actually grow, they were just pushed.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. We were, like, I remember going into secondary school. My mom wanted me to go to the school I wanted to go to. I got into it, but she didn't want me to go. I wanted to go to a school called King's College. It was a government school. Now you need to understand, no matter what, right? The stories that you tell, the stories of like being bitten and all that. I was actually excited. I wanted to witness that.
Funny thing is, when I started SS1, I was actually looking forward to I'm now a senior guy. I can punish, I can, but then it didn't work out.
The adrenaline rush is there. Like you want this. My mom made me go to a Christian school. You see, and this was like a very, very strict school where our uniform was so embarrassing. Shout out to all my BMJS people, by the way. I repped that school, but even though it wasn't nice for us, but the experience was all right. I feel like what it did was it gave me the balance I needed.
Okay.
That no matter where, you know, when you get thrown in the deep end, if you don't have that Nigerian stamina, you won't be able to survive. That's the only thing I would say I gained from being rushed through school.
Okay. Can we get back to the punishment thing? Because that's in my brain right now. There's a huge difference in how kids are punished in Nigeria and how they are punished in Ireland. Like,
you don't get
detention. You get detention in Ireland.
Detention.
Punishment. You're just sitting there doing your
I
homework.
disagree. I think it is a punishment, but it depends on like how
depends
you
on
look
how you look
at
at it.
It's not a punishment.
It's not punishment for you because what you consider a punishment is corporal punishment. Right?
Now you're making it sound like our school in Nigeria is criminal school.
Listen.
But in all fairness, when you think about it, when you did something wrong, what was the punishment?
So when your mother was beating you, that was corporate punishment.
Yeah, what's corporal punishment?
Did you get jail time? Like, calm down, man.
But that's what corporal
You're making it
punishment
sound so
is.
intense, like
But that's what it
it's
is.
not that deep. It's alright.
Okay, but what were the punishments in Nigeria? Like, for example, you didn't do your homework. What would have been the punishment? Because the punishments in Ireland, you didn't do your homework was you have to either do detention or do the homework and the homework you've done and write lines out or something like 100 lines of I must always do my homework. That was your punishment.
What's the worst punishment you had in school?
I got flogged my bum, man.
What did you do wrong?
I actually don't remember what exactly I did wrong. I think I was late for class or something. The teacher was already in the class or something like that, and I tried to walk in and I got punished for that. So,
wow. And you got flogged.
yeah, as in, oh god. It was
I remember my dad, I don't know whether this still happens because that was back in the day. Sorry dad, you're old. But I remember my dad saying back when if they did anything wrong, what they'll do is the school had acres of uncut grass.
Oh yeah. No,
They will give you cutlass and you have to go and cut the grass in your uniform, and that is basically you for half the day cutting. That's how they mowed the lawn in school, by punishing kids to cut grass.
Shout out to my BNJs people. You understand what she just said? That was BNJs. That was a skill for me.
But that's not educating a child. You're just basically telling them go and cut the school grass.
See, I just felt like you need to understand. I felt for me, the Nigerian system has a lot of discipline in it.
Is it necessary?
I think there's a lot of undue discipline. Like I remember when I was in school, there was a case of a girl that I actually knew, and you know, like we're young, we're kids. There's nothing, I don't know, there's nothing sinister in anything that we do because we're so innocent. But this guy liked this girl that I knew, and so he'd like always be like talking to her, and it's like any partnership he'd be like, I want to partner with her, you know, that kind of a thing, like, because you know you're young,
cute.
you have crushes. I think it's cute, like it's just human nature. But I think one day he wrote like a little letter to her about like, you know, like I like you, this and that, whatever. And I think what happened was the girl's mom had found the letter and then was like, oh, what's this? And then like, you know, just said to the school like, oh, I found this letter, you know, whatever. Like, I don't think she was mad. She just wanted to address the situation and let the school know, like, you know, like whatever. There's little letters, you know, whatever. This is my daughter, you know, whatever. But what the school decided to do was to call up the two individuals in assembly time in front of the whole entire school, and they flogged them both of them, which is ridiculous.
Because that can lead to blue film, and blue film can lead to them celebrating each other.
Like,
somebody can have a child in school. We need to stop it from the
So
start.
ridiculous.
That is what they did. They stopped it. You see them times, you don't have to wait for the tree to grow for you to find out. You need to stop it. Uproot it. Used to flogging that we had a game called Odeshi. You know, teacher hits you, be like, it's nothing, dust off your shirts.
and then you get the hype from everybody. Hey.
Wow.
You see,
You've been there. She's done that.
Been there, done that.
She has a t-shirt.
It's such a huge difference in how people grew in school and how people learned, how people were punished. My punishment had nothing to do with beating. I don't remember my education in Nigeria, thank God. If I did get beaten, Daddy, I love you for bringing me to Ireland. Thank you so much.
You dodged the bullet.
I dodged a huge bullet, otherwise I'll be having scars. I won't be wearing the top I have on right now. I can guarantee I'll be covering up. But it's been a very interesting topic. If you do have anything to say about what we've discussed today or anything else that's on your mind, do tweet us at convo_time. We've also got our Instagram and our Facebook. Everything's rolling under the screen. See you soon.